Peace, everyone. Welcome to Karmic Dynasty. I am Joy Allen. Here's my contact information in the ticker. Contact me. That's great. However, what you want to talk about, we could talk about it. All right. So today, as you've seen from the screen before me, we are here to discuss the movie review of Infinite. No, we're here to discuss through this movie review Infinite and Scanners. So from also this cover, you see that there are two guests planned to be here right now. Neither one of them are here. And y'all know Karmic Dynasty, Joy Allen, we roll. So I'm rolling. Rolling with me is Tekh. Now ain't that something right there? Tekh, hold up. Let me switch them gears, because if you missed it, I just did this broadcast. Matter of fact, I'm gonna share it. We just talked about the movie Matrix, the new one coming out. Okay, everyone, we would like to see you there. We would like to see you there. If you can't make it, that's cool. We got you. We know these things in life are real, and we will see you on the flip side or the other side of some type of a side. Now, I'm changing my banner. All right, moving along today. Tekh, I appreciate you being here. If you would, share your contact information with everyone after your peaceful greeting. We appreciate you.
No doubt. I knew Tekh. I'm Tekh. You can find me on Facebook as Tekh. You can find me on Instagram as Tekh_Queb. Again, I'm a practitioner of divinations. Come check us out, and let's get started with the show.
Let's get started with the show. All right. So, you're familiar with my platform and the guest for the movie reviews. You may already know. If you don't, I'm going to share with you. The newer movies are brought to you by Raw Eye, the guy on this side of the flyer, the banner, the thumbnail. The old school movies would be brought to you by the mother matriarch, Salima Ellis. All right. Today, we're moving forward. We're doing some things. Let me make some adjustments here, because y'all know Karmic Dynasty make adjustments. I went from the memoirs of a Karmic Dynasty to Karmic Dynasty. Honestly and outright, because y'all know I will roll. Let's roll. We flow. This is my flow right now. It takes a certain amount of time to put together some broadcasts, especially scheduled ones. It takes a lot of planning, behind the scene conversations to set up the platform and some other things to where the guests are comfortable. I have worked on my DPS. We just discussed DPS in the Matrix movie review.
I cannot.
My DPS is tight. I keep it right. Look now. So as of today, you follow my platform and you roll with my flow. When you see the adjustment, ending of the movie review, thumbnails, flyers, today back to back is the results. It's the cap of the why. All right. I appreciate you all being here. The flow is real. All right, now, so Infinite. It is a new movie. I mentioned it. And this movie stars Mark Wahlberg. Now, this movie, I don't know what kind of how these people feel about sharing what I know about where I watched it at. So I'm just gonna mention it. I watched the Infinite movie. Huh?
Was it Matt Damon or Mark Wahlberg? I don't know. I still gotta watch it.
What? Oh, yeah. Y'all know what? Tekh has not watched the movie, but he wanted to sit here with me on the panel, and I appreciate him for his diligence. I seriously do. And that's where I'm rolling today. My DPS is on guard. Breaking records around here. Breaking records.
For real.
Breaking records. All right, so the cast. Now, what we didn't do is too much look at the cast when we did the Matrix, when we just jumped into it. We got started a little late and some other things was going on. So let's look at this. The cast for the Infinite movie is Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. Sophie Cookson. Dylan O'Brien. I don't know what I was looking at. Chiwetel Ejiofor. Work with me. Liz Carr, Wallace Daly, etc., etc. So yeah, Mark Wahlberg is in this movie, Ramutif.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for clearing that up.
You know it. And so, all right. So I watched the movie through Paramount, via my Amazon video, and it's like $5.99 subscription if you have the Amazon account. Okay. And Scanners, well, I might not remember it now, but I'm gonna tell you now, I watched that on YouTube for free. It was free. All right. So I know one thing I'm familiar. MENTAAT brought Infinite to the platform because he was speaking about reincarnation. And so he wanted to dive and look into reincarnation. So I'm going to look at that myself right now. I'm going to look into it, but that's what we're going to cover here briefly today. All right.
Yeah, that's what it was looking like to me. Like for me, just watching like certain little trailers and things of that nature. So that's what it definitely looks like.
Yeah. Hold on, let me make these adjustments. Stand by. Stand by. Because I want to share. I'm sharing this as I talk. And again, a few moments. Stand by. I need to do something properly. DPS light.
The word of the day, everyone. DPS. Memorize it.
Word of the day, DPS. Brought to you by Ramutif Kweb doing the new movie Matrix broadcast.
How they say, learn your class. I crack myself up.
You know what I mean? I do it too. I crack myself up on that last broadcast. All right, y'all. We rolling. Got it. Let me switch gears here. I'm sharing the screen with y'all. Infinite. Z. Brother Z. Infinite.
I'm trying to get my laptop so I can get on my laptop.
We rolling. All right. Yes. Brother Z is Infinite. Gratitude. All right. So moving forward. All right. So now I've gotten to the point to where recently I've watched so many movies, and based on them being reviewed on the Karmic Dynasty broadcast, I don't know where. I just realized I don't know where I stopped saying thumbs up or thumbs down on the movies, but today I'm saying I got 2 thumbs up on Infinite for real. Another thing, right quick from the gate, I want to share with Infinite is, and my knowledge of villains, my awareness of villains are actually the heroes. I was able to see how the villain in this movie was a hero, and a hero to who probably is a question, but I could see the position that was being taken here. So going on with this movie right here, movie review. Where am I? Hold on, y'all. Okay. That's it. That's right. That's right. All right. So this movie was digitally released on Paramount June 2021. And following delays from its original August 2020 theatrical release due to COVID-19 pandemic. It received negative reviews from critics. They criticized the performances and screenplay, with some comparing it unfavorably to other films like The Matrix. Wow, how timely. We just did the review on The Matrix. First movie. Wow. Okay.
Ain't that something, right?
And this, I'm trying to in The Matrix, did people transition and come back?
Yeah, when it comes to reboot.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody was on the in those pods. When it comes to the third one, everybody was still in those. There's still a lot of people in the pods, but those pods were getting affected by the entity called Smith, Agent Smith.
Mm-hmm.
So he was basically becoming the alteration of the program. So in this movie, it's probably the same. I don't want to say the same, but probably got the same concept with the Christ figure, things of that nature, understanding who you are in other lifetimes, and that's what I'm getting from it, from what I've seen preview wise.
Okay. Well, in this movie, the setting it takes place in 1985.
I was 1 year old.
Cut it out. Yeah, it starts out in 1985, and then it has a short little storyline, and then it goes into the present time. Now, the present, the hold on, y'all. Mark Wahlberg. So, in the beginning of this movie, even though Mark Wahlberg is the main character, he is not portraying the main. Someone else is playing the main character. I'm doing all kind of spoiler alerts. Oh well. So when the movie starts in the 1985, the same character transitions in 1985, and so Mark Wahlberg is the reincarnation. He's the face of that new body. Same person, same character. Now I'm gonna give y'all some real quick what's up on this movie. The real quick what's up on this movie is this. These people, so Ramutab, talk to us about your viewpoint of what reincarnation is. What's their process? What happens? What's the scenario? In brief, if you don't mind, however you like to manage it.
All right, so for myself, reincarnation is like basically a recycling of your energy, your life force, the life stream, whatever folks want to call it. You come into this body, you experience what you experience. When you expire from this body, your energy goes into a new body. You may be something else in that new body, but that same signature, energy signature, is still yourself. As you go on through life and start seeing certain aspects of yourself, you start to recollect certain parts of your dreams, and those dreams is the lives that you had in your previous life. Because again, you're recycling your energy. Your energy is trying to take back and come back to itself, because from its original form of the all, coming back into something new but still the same. So in short, it's just like the process of what they call immortality. It's just that your being, which is the energy, transfers itself through a new brain, through the womb, what they call the matrix, in a sense, coming back into this or any type of reality, depending on what you have done, because that's how the a lot of the teachings teach, is just more so if you've done what you're supposed to do what you signed up to do, that energy signature will still be here. But if you did not, and you keep going into a farther part, the more that you reincarnate, the less of who you are will be present in that new body.
Interesting. Okay, I'm rolling with that. Now, in this movie, Infinite, these people were here. When they're born each time, they get the full memory, the full recollection of all the previous lives they lived beforehand. And then whatever, so all that knowledge and whatever skills they have are with them in that present life. So in this movie, Mark Wahlberg's character, they've been around for a long. Him and the villain, they over time, they used to work together, but over time their differences, their outlooks grew apart. They separated, and so the other guy became the villain. In this movie, Mark Wahlberg is the hero. Now, the movie opens in 1985 in Mexico City, and the main character is Heinrich Treadway. So Treadway, he is escaping authorities, and this guy, the villain's name is Backhurst. I don't remember. I just saw it, but I wouldn't. The guy, the brother who played that villain role, his appearance to me stood out to me more than his name in the movie. So either way, Treadway, who Mark Wahlberg portrays, Abel and Leona worked with him. So they are others who reincarnate and come back in like about, I think it's menopausal age. Not menopause. What is this damn word? Adolescence. They come into their remembrance of their past lives. And so Treadway has this egg, and he is working on protecting the egg. And so he ends up, as we know, dying in 1985 and coming back in the present day. And he, even at adolescence, because of some injuries and some other things in life, he has not recalled who he is. So when this agent shows up, because there were two, but you have to watch the movie and know why only Leona showed up and not Abel and Leona to help him continue to protect this egg. So when Leona shows up, she knows who he is because they're full grown. They're grown. She knows everything they've done in prior lives, all the wars, the fights, the everything, the interactions, the life living. So when she runs into Treadway and he does not recall who he is or anything else, then the mystery unfolds, and the storyline goes into helping him, first of all, figuring out how to get him to recall himself, because he is the only one who knows where the egg is. The villain is attempting to destroy the egg, etc., etc., etc. Now, this is where the villain, how he was shaped, how he was created. The villain has issues because for him, he recalls all his past lives while he's in the womb. So he does, in one part of the movie, he does this small rant about being in the womb and being fully aware, and how he don't like coming back over and over again. To him, it's just like done. It's like, how much more can we do this? So he's on a search to destroy this egg, and this egg will destroy all of creation. So then when he reincarnates, there's nothing to, when he dies, there's nothing for him to reincarnate back into, because there's no life that exists.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I'm interject, but that's like from being under the temple and things of that nature, understanding what the cosmic background radiation is, what they call the AKA the cosmic A. All right, keep going. This I need to watch this. Keep going.
You good. That's it. That's really basically all I was going to say concerning what I'm seeing and knowing about the movie. Just in brief before we jump in and get into some other things. I just want to share that. So reincarnation in this movie is, Ramutef gave his synopsis of reincarnation. And when it comes to this movie, these people come in fully aware at a certain point in their life, apparently different times in life, of their previous lives. So
That's something most of the people now, like a lot of the youth, are coming back with full remembrance. A lot of them are. A lot of the parents, they really can't understand their child because they don't understand that their child is coming back with a lot of information, and that's what it sounds like. I'm sorry to interject, but
you good? Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. It sounds just like that because I've been looking into it a lot, especially with a lot of the children. And then, me being what they would call astrologer, I understood like especially that generation of the Pluto generation of Sagittarians. These young individuals, I've been tell folks is that they're going to grow up with no religion. Why? Because they have it all. They have the knowledge, and when they come back, the elders that come back, they're the ones who are definitely going to bring about a different change when it comes to the role of religion. Then you just said like they're coming back with full remembrance from the womb. A lot of these kids is coming with remembrance from the womb, and when they come out, you're like, wow, my child is different or special, or how do they know this? How are they talking to me all grown and da 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 da, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, this movie is deep. I can't wait to watch this. Go ahead.
Yeah. Now, what I want to share with you, because I know you are a master of them weapons. I know you got the handle on them fighting styles. There is this scene in the movie, Ramutef, I promise you will greatly appreciate. And it has to do with the sword. And so his handling and mastery of the sword, he still don't have his recollection. It is based on his training from his previous lives. So he's making moves and he just rolling with. He don't even know why, how he knows stuff, and you know what I mean. And then they come in that same scene. They know he's like odd, so they ask him like, "What's gunpowder made of?" And he breaks it down. And they be asking him these like what they think is like impossible to answer questions, and he just break it down like that.
It sounds like the whole download thing from the Matrix. Remember I was talking about that from the War Room. The downloads that they get from the Matrix.
Yes.
That's what it sounds like.
Yep, but I'm gonna play this this trailer for you right quick.
Why are you to find out?
Hold on, y'all. Am I sharing? Hold on. Hold up. Okay, hold on. This is my concern. When I do, all right, we good. I needed there not to be an echo, so I don't have an echo, so we good.
What do I know that you need so bad? That's why you're here. To find out.
You're not crazy. You never have been. Do you find yourself drawn to places you've never been?
The visions you've had your entire life aren't hallucinations. They're memories.
You're talking about reincarnation.
The legend never dies, you get reborn.
We call ourselves the Infinite. We remember skills from all our past lives. It takes 10,000 hours to master a skill. How could you be after 1,000,000 hours?
Where did it end, baby? What do I know that you need so bad?
That's why you're here. To find out.
We have fought one another for sin.
All right, so that's some of the trailer. Y'all gonna have to do your thing and get the rest. But as you seen before this scene stopped, this guy mentioned we have fought together. This is the villain right here that I mentioned earlier. They've done this. That's what he told him. We have fought each other before. And Mark Wahlberg's character is just like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know who you are. What do you want from me? It was something else. So I appreciated when Mark Wahlberg was able to get all his awareness of self together and recall everything. Right now, looks like we have Raw Eye joining us in the studio. Raw Eye, are you with us? Your microphone is mute. There you go.
Right Ashukwu Noir.
Shukwu Noir.
How you doing? What's up? What's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
Excellent, excellent, and peaceful. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited. It's Sunday.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? The day of Ra. Let's go.
That's Ra's day. All right. He said, let's go. All right. So since we have you here, would you speak to us? I spoke in brief about the how and why Infinite got to the platform. I know you share a lot of enthusiasm, some inner excitement when you refer movies to the platform. Could you speak to us about your referral of Infinite?
Oh, Infinite. First of all, number one, it's starring a good brother. First of all, when you look at the trailer, when you look at the posters, it always says starring Mark Wahlberg, right? And then the nigga got to be second. No, it's starring Ejiofor. I don't know his name, but starring him first. So we got to go support the brother. Number one, that drew me to that. And then the title, Infinite. So every time we see the title, that gives us like a divine a signature. So I had to check that out. So I watched the movie, and then I read the description. It's talking about reincarnation, and we understand that within Nubian spiritual doctrine or religious belief system, we believe in reincarnation. So I had to definitely check that out and investigate. Okay, where they're gonna be dropping? Because I understand that they're dropping more gems with these newer movies that are coming out. So when I watched the movie, in the beginning they were dropping it. They said that it's a war between the infinites, and the infinites are these basically people who've been reincarnated over and over again, and that opens up some other questions, like for how long. So in the show, you got this group called the Infinites. All right, they're fighting each other. You know what I'm saying? The war of the gods, but they fighting each other because one side wants to protect humanity, and the other side wants to get out of humanity because they feel that humanity has been trapping them. Now, the so-called villain, which is the good brother that you put up on the screen, oh, God, I love him. But this brother right here, he's the so-called villain. He wants to destroy all life on the planet. Now, off top, you're going to be like, well, that's evil. But he has a great reason. His reason is he's getting tired of reincarnating over and over and over and over again. He's trapped in a endless reincarnation cycle, which that resonates with me because based upon my understanding of Nubian Kemetic science, a lot of us have been trapped in humanity and on this planet for a long time. You know, a lot of souls, or what you would call seventh year seniors, 23-year-old 12th graders. You know what I'm saying? So that
Wow.
Yeah. So his character immediately resonated with me, I understood because his mindset was, if I destroy every piece of life on the planet, then there's nothing left to reincarnate into. So then when there's a scene in this movie where it gets into how to spark your not only your genetic memory, which is the memory of your DNA in your body, because your body's a human Akashic record. Long story short, it holds billions of years worth of information. Long story short, okay, that you can tap into, and then it holds the entire knowledge of the bloodline you're in. So however far back your bloodline goes, okay, and our bloodline goes far beyond Africa, far beyond Egypt. I know everybody loves Egypt. Far beyond Atlantis, okay, the bloodline goes all the way off planet to another galaxy. You know what I'm saying? To another solar system. So you have extraterrestrial DNA in your body that we're trying to unlock. We're trying to tap into. Long story short, so it gets into that, and it gets into how traumatic energy basically sparks that what you call genetic memory. This word genetic memory has been coming up a lot. A lot of y'all need to go look that up and check it out. I've seen like 4 movies where one of the subjects it was genetic memory. Like just like in Dune, they were talking about genetic memory, and they're big on that. Okay, genetic memory again is being able to tap into ancient ancestral memory of your bloodline that you have incarnated into. Okay, on top of tapping into not just that memory, but the memory of your journey, your many reincarnations. A lot of people been. I know a couple years ago, I was in a Kemetic order. One of our what you would call she was called the den mother or clan mother. She said she remembers she has memory fragments of over 127 different lifetimes. Okay, so that's why I was interested in Infinite. One thing about Infinite that uh they still they're still gonna try to throw you off, even though they give you gems. They're gonna still try to throw you off because the villain, the good brother, his previous life he was a white dude. Okay, and then in the movie in that life he's a black dude. Okay, listen, the solar blueprint of your soul, of yourself, of your etheric self must be compatible with a physical blueprint of your avatar. Meaning, okay, I like to keep things simple. Meaning, you're not going to reincarnate as a completely other different species. So if you're black, you've always
Correct.
been black. You've always
Correct.
been black. Go ahead.
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, okay, yeah, no doubt, no doubt. You've all listen, and this is very important. I hear a lot of niggas, a lot of comedic niggas teaching on this, and they teaching it wrong, and I understand, and I see why because they're trying to be inclusive. Okay, now, with that being said, if you are black right now in this life, you have always been black in every single life you ever had, either on this planet or another planet. If you was on another planet, you was probably blue, which is another form of melanin, or purple, another
Or
form of melanin,
green.
or
Keep going.
green. You know
Keep
what
going.
I'm saying? But it is incapable. You are incapable as what we say muakaku, which means Etherian. Long story short, which is what a soul is. Soul is an Etherian. A solar Etherian is incapable of reincarnating into a physical avatar that is not compatible. That's why you have to have, and this gets to the deeper mysteries of melanin. Why you have to have a certain level of Why not you? I'm sorry. Why the avatar has to have a certain level of melanin in order to house a divine soul? Because soul, this is real hot cosmic energy that's beaming. Okay, and that's why you get spontaneous combustion. I don't want to get off track, but that's where you get spontaneous combustion. You know what I'm saying? If a soul tries to incarnate into, let's say, a less more recessive avatar, it's going to spontaneously combust. Okay, I was watching Supernatural, and one of the archangels said, another angel tried to enter into the wrong body, and the body just burnt up. Okay, that instantly resonated. Okay, and this is where we get into. Not everybody on the planet has a soul. Okay, a cockroach has a spirit, but does a cockroach have a soul? No. Okay, and that goes with a lot of the other humanoids on the planet. Long story short, and one thing when you're watching reincarnation movies, they'll try to confuse you, and they'll try to switch it up, saying, "Well, listen, you can reincarnate as this, you can reincarnate as a bird, you reincarnate as a butterfly, you reincarnate as a white man." That's not how that works. Long
Nope.
story short,
You
it
need
has
to
to
go from a male to a female of that specific species that you are. That's how
exactly.
reincarnated. Like the life that we are now, last life we was a woman. Life before that we was a man. And we go back in that cycle over and over and over again.
That's interesting. You said last cycle we was a woman.
Mm-hmm. Anybody, because that's the one thing I started learning, especially I started looking deep into it when it comes to doing that with that reincarnation. The reincarnation comes from that past life, like Karmic Dynasty Joy. She was a man back in her last life. I was a woman. You was a woman. When we come into this life, our roles just switch. When we go to the next life, our roles is going to switch. That is that cosmic balance that keeps us, how you say, going back and forth or in that infinite.
I like that. I didn't think about that. So when you watch that movie, when you think about infinite, you think about like duality and how that keeps going around. I like that.
I mean,
So Ramutef, I know when we were in Boston, you gave me my reading
Mm-hmm.
from the past life when I was a man, masculine, you said.
Mm-hmm.
And could you talk to us about the part where that's related to my dad in this lifetime?
Because it goes back. If you go to the whole uh we'll go to the Kemetic doctrines in a sense, and you understand that the resurrection, or the what's that thing called, the immaculate conception, things of that nature. The form of how a being comes into this world is always through the woman. That's always going to be. However, the form of your reincarnation is going to come in a certain form. And that particular one, it was a reincarnation of Asar, who is Haru. Haru is the reincarnation of that being, just like Joy is the reincarnation of her father, just like myself, Ramutep, is the reincarnation of his mother. I don't want to say my mom's name, but her name that she has given herself is Yoel. Yeah, Yoel. Yoel. So when it comes to that particular thing, it's that energy. The energy of your father becomes you. You become your father, but in a woman's form. Vice versa with the men. We're the energy of our mother, just put into a masculine form. Hence why we go back into that whole Y and X, Y and X, Y and X. Then going into that genetic makeup and that memory. When we're in
Mm-hmm.
this body, physical body, as far as us men, we have a lot of our mother's line in us. You look at your mother versus your father. For a woman, she's going to look just like her father, but they'll be like, "Oh, you look so much like your mom." Later in life, you might look like your mom, but moving forward, you look just like your father. Like myself, a lot of people say I look like my dad. I see those features, but if you look at my mom and me, put it side by side, same color, complexion, same nose. She's just a little shorter than me. I got a bigger forehead than her, but that's because of my dad. But at the end of the day, I'm hurt in the flesh, just as a man.
Well, okay. I'm making adjustments here. So I speaking on Ra's point, the point that I was waiting, I didn't remember hearing him say it, but in the movie, when the villain was in 1985 in the beginning of the movie, um, he was a white man.
Right.
He was a white man. And then for him to come back in the present day and look like this guy, I think this is what Ra was talking about and addressing. You can't be the white guy and then turn and be the black guy.
And then listen, and then here's another thing that they see. I'm breaking this shit down, and it's another thing that did. Not only did they made his spirit, his energy, his Ka. Okay, they made his Ka spirit energy. It was white. Cause why the fuck is he? Excuse me, but why is he speaking in a Russian accent? So what kind of being is in that avatar? Why is there a European or a Adamite spiritual spirit being Ka inside of a Nubian avatar? That's that's another thing that I peeped out with the energy. Okay, because he was speaking in that he was speaking in an English accent. He didn't have no Nubian masculine tone. That was a Caucasoid with an English accent. Okay, so that actually that gets into another thing where we got walk-ins. A walk-in can take over your ass now. Okay, they in Lovecraft they had an episode about that. A walk-in can um hop in an avatar of a Nubian if your vibration is low. Okay, that's why your vibration is your shield. But that's one thing I caught when I seen that character. Not listen in in the beginning of the movie, he was a white dude, but at the when it fast forwarded to the modern day, he was still a white dude. Cause look at his accent. That's what you really are is your energy, not your skin color. Really, it's really who you are is your energy. So he's still kind of vibrating as a as that white guy in first. So that's very interesting. Um, that you kind of caught that too, Joy.
Yeah, a lot of what you talked about so far, a lot of it I've already addressed with the audience. Another thing I'm sharing right now, since I have this part of the trailer up and I didn't move it because I wanted everybody to see this. This is the egg. What's in his hand is the egg that I was mentioning. And there's a device. Hold on. Hold on, where I'm at. Um, where was I at? Okay. When this egg
The egg.
activated, it attacks the DNA of living beings and destroys life, which I previously mentioned and Ross spoke on as well. So this is the whole what everybody's what the whole fight and battle is over is this egg in his hand.
Right.
Ra, you were saying?
So yeah, so that all right, so that egg, it it's designed not to harm the planet. It was just designed to complete. You said it perfectly, to break down completely the DNA of every being on the planet, so that he doesn't have to. He and his group does not have to reincarnate. They can go to another planet, go where they got to go, a higher dimension. Long story short, and oh god, it gets deep with him with this character. He's torturing himself in one scene. Remember that scene where he's torturing himself when he's in his palace because he's
Yeah,
trying
with
to.
the gasoline.
Oh, that was gasoline. I didn't know that. I thought that was water. Okay. Well, he was waterboarding himself because he's trying to activate the memory. He's trying to go back to the very very first incarnation and get to that memory of. He kept saying, "Show me God's face."
Mm-hmm.
Not knowing that the black man and black woman, that is the physical face of God. You know what I'm saying? So he kept torturing himself, not realizing that he had that face of God in the first place.
Okay, is my thing? Okay, I'm unmuted. This is my take on that after sitting here and taking in everything to so far. You know, in the near the end of the movie when they were assisting Treadway, Mark Wahlberg's character, to recall his memory,
Mm-hmm.
and it was because they did it in a method of bringing him so close to his death, like how you
Mm-hmm.
see your life before your eyes when you're dying, they say. And
Yep.
so there was a measure done to get him so close to death that he would recall where the egg was at. So the Wahlberg character can retrieve it before this guy, the villain, so-called villain on the screen, got a hold to it and destroyed everything. So I think what was going on was when you were talking about this character on the screen wanted to see the face of God. I swear that was gasoline cans
Hmm.
that was going into him. We'll have to look at that. And with that being said, when you ingest gasoline, that can bring you near death.
Hmm.
So he probably had that on those tables around him, the resuscitation measures, because he kept looking for the only way he's going to see the face he's looking for is if he is near death or dead. He was
And that's
using
it.
gasoline as the measure to do that.
And right, just like when remember when the white dude, when Mark Wahlberg's character was in locked up, he was interrogating him, and he had that pistol. So it's that energy, it's traumatic energy, whether it's mental or physical injury,
Mm-hmm.
that sparks. From my understanding, it sparks not only it sparks your genetic memory, and it also sparks the memory of your reincarnations too. So
Mm-hmm.
I remember a lot of movies we got to pay attention to these different subjects that keep coming up. That torture to spark memory that comes up in a lot of movies. You got a lot of people torturing themselves not because they're crazy, but they're trying to wake up that memory. That's why you got a lot of star seeds coming out of the hood because the hood is a very traumatic experience. So
Mm-hmm.
look at them right now. Look at everybody right now. They're very spiritual because their traumatic energy sparks their soul. That's why,
Mm-hmm.
and that actually ties into that scene when he's torturing himself. That ties into like the reality. The reality is designed to torture your soul so that it can wake up. So you do need evil. Otherwise, if you're on Earth chilling and you living good, what motivation are you gonna have to get off the planet or to progress? You see what I'm saying?
Yep. And to bring Ramutef back into this conversation, because I want to bring this up as an example. Of course, we can all look at our parents. Some of us don't know who our parents. We don't have that line to look at. But I'm going to share with you mine. So Ramutef had mentioned that I would look like my dad. So I have this one picture on Facebook. I just want to share. This is like my dad's profile side view. It's me, my mom, and my dad. So from my dad's, you could see maybe the Ramutef saying I look like him. What I can tell you is for sure, my hands are like my dad's hands. I have like his yeah, I do have some of his type features. And then my mother was more on the thinner side, and like she's about my height and a good 100 pounds at best on her regular days of health. And me, like I'm 5'3" and a good 140 pounds right now. So where I'm at, I was in high school, I was like average 120 on my senior year. So it had been some type time since I was able to average the 100 weight my mama had, but I never had that slim build she had either. I'm built like, my dad, a female version of my dad, as Ramutef put it. Ramutef, you wanted to share anything more about that? And also maybe
this is more so like seeing it, how they say the word seeing is believing it type thing. Because it's like when you start to really notice it, because a lot of us are taught to be like, oh, I'm like this, I'm like that, I'm like this, you look like this, oh, you remind me of this person, so on and so forth. But in reality, when it comes to dealing with our people, that concept itself is something that we really got to start diving into, because we're talking about that genetic memory stuff. So one thing I understood, like there's that whole story, I want to say it's in like the Jewish text or things of that nature. They talk about how man in a sense got here, right? They tell you that the only way that men got here in a sense, or men was birthed, or they call them the Nephilim in a sense, was through a witch. The angels who desired women so much came down and impregnated them. When they impregnated them, they became reincarnated into a being called a Nephilim. They have their father, who is that angel, but their mother's the witch. And when they birth these big giants, they say, and then you can see like a lot of certain females around the world, they be skinny as I don't know what, small as I don't know what, and they birth like a 300-pound baby, and that baby's like basically as big as them by the time they're like 3 months. So that's like, giving an example. But as you start to go through the notion, or how you say the memory that you go through, so a lot of the things that you were taught were from him. Subconsciously, we all don't know it. Like for me, like with my mother, there's a lot of things about me that I do exactly like my mother. Didn't even realize until like years ago. But when it comes to my father, I was being trained to be like him versus being who I was supposed to be, doing the job that my mother was supposed to do. When we come into this life, when we have children, in a sense, depending on if you have a boy or a girl, if you have a boy, they are taking on the karma that their mother was not able to take on. So you took on those good qualities that she that for us men, we took on those qualities that we can surpass. But then at the same time, we inherit not just their karma, but we also inherit our father's karma. But then when it comes to that whole star alignment process, like for myself, my north node and south node, my south node is in the exact spot where my father's sun is at. And then when it comes to my north node is basically opposition from my own father's son. And when it comes to dealing with certain hidden parts of astrology, to go into deeper into that, to understand your relationship between both your father and your mother, you got to look at the sun and the moon and where they're at, wherever sign they're in. And once you start to really dig deep into those sun signs of where your sun is at, like mine is in Leo. So with mine being in Leo, my whole relationship with my father is a very expressive. Things about him is very expressive. Like he's very known to the people that he's been around, regardless of him drinking and things of that nature. But my father is um a very expressive man, a very expressive man with his words, with his actions. When it comes to my mother is dealing with my moon, which is in Pisces. My mom is a person who's very deep into spiritual systems, but she always likes to keep herself in solitude, even with her, having birth in us. By the same time, she has her limits when it comes to dealing with people and groups. And that's how I am today when it comes to dealing with people. For me, I search for groups where my mom doesn't. She searches for a group, stays there, and that's it. She doesn't do nothing else after that. When it comes to, let's say, yourself, Joy, when you look at yours, you have your mother's moon is in Pisces. You have your sun, which is in Scorpio. So when it comes to your father, in a sense, those aspects of that Scorpio, in a sense, is him, your relationship with him, or how you would view it. And then when you go into this movie, from which y'all been telling me, I'm just like, oh shit, that's something else. To unlock those parts of within ourselves as they're doing in that movie, that's one way of doing it. There's other ways: meditation, sedation, that whole waterboarding. That's crazy. Taking gasoline, waterboarding yourself through gasoline to near death. That's crazy. And I can't think what other movie. There's another movie that was like that. I just can't remember what it was, where they bring a person to that brink. It was considered like a horror film where these students basically like took themselves out in a sense for a few seconds, and then they came back and they brought them back to life type thing. I can't remember what that movie was, but that sounds pretty much like that. And that was that came out a couple of years ago. I want to say like 4 years ago, maybe. It was like damn, what the hell was that movie? Anyway, yeah, they were like student scientists, and then they had this machine where they basically killed them, and then they brought them back to life. And then when they came back to life, they started having some really bad traumatic hauntings of death or something like that. I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. One of them died. What happened was, one of them died, and when it came back, they told him that when I died, I relived my worst moment over and over again. So they went to hell, basically.
Yep, that's exactly it. And then going through this movie, I could see the whole notion. So it's like, go ahead.
When I speak or Ra speaks, there's an echo on Ramutef's side. I just noticed when Ra is speaking. So, Ramutef, I'll need yours, because you're in the studio with me. You switch from cell phone to laptop. Okay, that's what it is. All right, but go ahead. Apologies.
Oh, no, my problem. Going back to what y'all was saying earlier about the that whole egg thing. For me, goes back to the book called The Cosmic Egg by Bruce Wallace. Understanding what that is and what its function is. Richard Bruce Wallace. Thank you for correcting me. There's a process called gravity. That process of gravity is what he's trying to escape from. Because if you can stop the gravity, you can stop all that's coming to being, because gravity is the part that produces what they call atomic energy. From that atomic energy, that's what that infinite comes in, or what they consider themselves infinite. So in a sense, if you want to go to dogma, they just basically saying that we're angels. And then certain people are becoming fallen angels, what they call them demons, what they call demigods, and so on and so forth. I can't wait to watch this movie. I cannot wait.
Yeah, you gotta check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you missed it, Ramutef. What point was I about to make? Forget. I forgot. Either way. Oh, now I went to go get a screenshot, a clip of the gasoline can the lady had in her hand, just for the record. Also, it's like 32 minutes into the movie is when that scene happened. So if you're curious, you got to watch like a half hour of the movie to see it. As before she lifts the can, she pulls up a mask. So I'm thinking it's to avoid the fumes. I don't think she'd wear a mask. And this ain't a COVID movie, so everybody ain't got a mask on. You know what I mean? They in the lab, she pulled the mask, she lift the can, and the process starts. So I just wanted to share that. And okay, I got you. Hold on. Flatliners. Let's speak about Flatliners. I'm
No,
muted.
that's the movie. That's the name of the movie. Thank you for James Johnson. That's the name of the movie, Flatliners, that we were speaking on. About the people going, the scientists or whatnot, killing themselves, bringing themselves back to life, and then going through those experiences. The movie is called Flatliners. That's what it's called. I appreciate that.
Okay. Rod, did you want to speak on that?
Flatliners?
Yes. Is that the movie you were speaking about?
I think so. It was. I'm trying. Let me think. I'm gonna watch that. But there's another movie that sounds familiar to that, in which it was the scientists, they're experimenting on bringing back the living dead, and one of the scientists, she got killed because she got electrocuted. So the male scientist that was in love with her was like, you know what, let me bring her back. So what happened was he brought her back, and she basically explained that when she died, what happened was when she was a kid, she accidentally burnt down her apartment building, so burned her family alive. So anyways, when she died, she said that she was experiencing her burnt family trying to get out the apartment over and over again. You know what I'm saying? Essentially, that's what hell was, long story short, for them. So I'm not sure if that was Flatline. I'm gonna go check that out. But also, if you watch American Horror Story, yeah, it gets kind of, and this is what, and again, this is why, without getting too sidetracked, this is why they want you to fear death, is because they fear death. Long story short, when I'm watching these movies, it's like they kind of, to me, it sounds like they know what's going to happen. I was watching American Horror Story, and in American Horror Story, a lot of those, when people would die, they would be bounded to whatever place they were at. So it was a lot of ghosts. You know what I'm saying? That were just reliving a certain day of their life over and over and over again. And I remember some of the characters that were trapped in this type of, it was like a limbo type hell where you just reliving the same experience over and over again. That ain't got nothing to do with us. You know what I'm saying? If you notice, most of the characters were Adamite or Caucasoid. That has nothing to do with us. Again, without getting too sidetracked, this is why they fear death. Because at the end of the day, what ancestors do they have to come guide them or guide their spirit, if you want to call it so, whatever, to guide them once they experience so-called death? You know, their ancestors, coming out of the caves. Okay, I don't want to get too sidetracked, but this is why they fear death, because they don't know, they're not sure on that guidance, how to get off the planet once you come out the body. Long story short, but I'm gonna check out Flatliners and see if that was the one that Rami Tuff was talking about.
I'm pretty sure that was the movie. That was definitely
Okay.
the movie.
Oh, I need to watch that again. That sounds interesting. I need to watch that again. I've only seen it once. That means I haven't seen it at all. So I need to watch that again.
Yeah. I only seen it once. But when y'all was talking about the dude waterboarding and so trying to take himself out, I said, yo, that's like almost in that sense where those people were doing the same thing, and each one of them end up it was crossing, how you say, what's that movie? What is that movie called? Final Destination. It was taking Final Destination, but taking it to a whole different level. That's what that movie was about.
Okay.
Joy, if you get a chance, can you pull up a image of that? Maybe a movie poster.
Flatliners.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah. So when it comes to So what comes to the movie? What other points that came out in Infinite? Like what are the other parts?
You know what, there's another that ties into something else that you guys might want to check out. There's another low-key show called Foundation. What I'm noticing again when I'm watching these different movies, this whole genetic memory, it keeps coming up in different movies. Okay, so that's a gem. Okay, if white people listen, if white folks they haven't been on that planet that long, so if they're tapping into their genetic memory, they can only tap into so much. So just imagine what's in our genetic memory. Again, if you understand how ancient some of the bloodlines are, how extraterrestrial some of these bloodlines are. So these white folks are over here talking about, and that's why Infinite, and that's why these movies are a projection of their mindset. Because if I made a movie called Infinite, I would have showed our lives on another world. It would have been way more expansive. But that shows you that they're essentially Earthlings, earthbounded. Long story short, because every movie that they deal with that talks about reincarnation, why are they always on Earth? You know what I'm saying?
Ra, are you able to see these movies?
Flatliners. Let me see. Ooh, no, that wasn't. I haven't seen that one. Okay, but I'm gonna watch that because that sounds familiar to the. That sounds. Didn't that sound familiar to what I was explaining? Right.
Correct.
So I mean, okay, bet. So I'm gonna watch that.
There's
But
like
that what?
two versions of it. Like that was the first version, and then the recent version is the one I was talking about. But I just now found out that I guess that was the remake. That makes sense.
Ooh, okay, bet. I gotta watch this. This looks good. I've actually never seen that. But the movie I was telling you about sounded damn. I got. God, what was it called? Now you got me thinking. Let me see if I can find. Lazarus. Hold on, wait. Let me give me 1 second. I might look stuff up. I think it's called the Lazarus Project. Oh God, the Lazarus Effect. The one I'm talking about is called the Lazarus Effect. Go watch that, Joy. Go watch that. Go watch that. Yep. Ramotef, check that out. If you see Flatliners, go watch the Lazarus Effect. It's about about a group of student scientists experimenting with reanimation, bringing things back to bringing it back to life. And listen, let's get into the science real quick. Let's get into the science. Number one, you can never bring nothing back to life. Okay, when the spirit leaves the body, is gone. Okay, now what you can do is you can bring the body back to life, but it's going to be you can bring another entity into that body when you're doing when you're dealing with high level of rituals and all that type of shit and summoning. You can bring that entity into that same body, but in terms of that spirit, that is not going to be the same spirit. Long story short, okay, this is why when you sell your soul, okay, remember what we call the ka or the spirit. It's a form of energy. We all understand that. Okay, these motherfuckers, they have technology where they can trap your spirit into it's like a magnetic chamber, and they can throw you. I don't want to get too sidetracked, but this is why we gotta be pay attention to this stuff. Okay. Oh God. So the dog, listen, that dog that you're playing right now, that dog died, and when it came back, it was
Is
acting.
Chance the rapper in here?
No, that's Donald Glover.
Hey, no, Donald Glover. I've seen
Yep.
this movie. That was him. I've seen him. Yeah, I've seen this movie.
Yeah, I've seen this movie before. Yo.
That was a good one. Yep. Look at that.
Yo. This is a whole different. This is a whole different thing right here.
Well, when she came back, when she died, she went to hell, and then she came back, there's a whole different entity. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like something else came. Matter of fact, I think what happened was when she died, she left. But another entity came into that avatar when they resurrected the avatar, her body. That was a whole other entity. So that gets to the science on what they're doing with CERN machine. They're opening up stargates using CERN, and they're bringing beings to this plane of existence. and they need a body. That's why it's important to keep your vibration low. Okay, because if your vibration falls, that's your vibration is your shield. So these beings can enter into you and hijack your avatar, like some grand theft auto spiritual type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so let's get to the Infinite again. I'm gonna finish the trailer. I got some questions, and then we're gonna go ahead and look at the next movie, Scanners, on the double feature broadcast today. Let's see. Oh, yeah, Ra, I was gonna ask you. I spoke to everyone about the scene and the description that the villain had of him recalling all of his memories while in the womb. And this right here is actually, everybody, this is the scene where they were attempting to get him close to death to have him recall his memory. They were using water. But yeah, because you talked to us about the villain speaking about his experience in the womb.
Right. So that's another reason why he was so hell bent on getting out of there. So now when he was reincarnating, he was having conscious memory of being a infant in the womb. Okay, when he confronted one of Wahlberg's characters' associates in the movies, he was telling him, "Listen, I'm getting tired of having memories of sitting inside of a womb, not being able to do anything, but just sit there."
Yeah, and that would irritate and freak me out too, especially I'm on a mission.
Right? Could you I was like, whoa.
To be done about 9 months, stewing.
Right. He had the full memory, and some people they made another movie about this white girl. She had memory of her being born. So her mother died. Her mother had died because of her birth, and she remembers that as a child, as a little infant.
I got a story I'm gonna share. This is my first time public. I think I probably told this story to 2 people. I was certificate of live birth. Now, what I also know, recent little disclaimer, little sidebar, however we want to phrase it. Each state has different procedures for recording birth and issuing it to the name on the card, on the certificate, on the document. So in Indiana, we have birth certificates. We got, they're small, wallet size, or full page. And the birth certificate just names the state, our parents' names, for example, our name and our date. On the certificate of live birth, which is issued instead in some states, it shares your time of birth. So some people have those documents. That's all they know is the certificate of live birth. Some places like Indiana, we just have this birth certificate. So when I got mine, it was so I can know my time of birth for a birth chart reading. So I've had mine for some years. When I first, on that form, it lists the doctor's name and signature. The doctor's name and signature is not on the birth certificate. At least it's not on mine, issued by Indiana. Also, it shows my parents' address at the time on that document, as well as my time of birth. I know when I pulled that form out, and as I was reading it, I called back and could see my dad's face as I came out, as I was being delivered in the room.
Wow. And
I could see like the whiteness of the walls and things, and a few, white faces, which was probably the doctor and the staff. And I was just speechless. It was a moment. And that's the best way I can describe it verbally. It is something else. I've never, nothing like it.
That goes back to what I was talking about in the like when we was doing the Matrix part. I can remember coming out But after that, all I can remember is when I was in Cuba for a little bit. Then I can remember a little bit about Florida, but the most that I can remember is when I was in Portugal. Other than that, I can't remember anything. I can remember moments, but when I got to Portugal, it was during the time when I was talking about the whole scene of me going into the hospital, being in a cage, and everything else. Ever since that happened, I can remember nothing but Portugal till now. But as far as coming out, all I can remember is darkness with a little bit of hint of red. I could see white, and then next thing you remember, I can remember me sitting on the couch with pillows around me. I can remember falling down the stairs. Next thing I can remember is my sister. I can remember my sister, but thinking that she was the sister that was being birthed, my youngest sister. And it's just like those type of memories got distorted once I had that scene that I described about being at the hospital. And then for you to say that, that's just that's definitely tapping into that whole starting from there. So now the whole process. Now let's go beyond that. Let's find out what happens before you got to that point.
Okay, I see you got a screen share opportunity, Ramutef. You got something you want to show us up here?
Oh, I was about to answer a question when it comes to how do we know when the spirit or soul has left the body? So dealing with going into metal nature in a sense. One way that I learned was knowing the first three letters of A in metal nature. You have the vulture, the bent arm, and the fig leaf. Those are the three symbolisms of A. When you look at the vulture, you understand that it's dealing with the basic animalistic parts of our body when it comes to the word A. So you have the A of the vulture, which is like the bird. So it's a loud A. Then you have the A itself, which is just the fig leaf, which is just like A, like a breeze. Then you have what is called the bent arm, or what you call the last breath. So when you see the bent arm, in a sense, it's the last breath, that person taking his last breath, meaning the soft A or the silent A, in a sense. That's what I want to break down when it comes to your body or your soul leaving the body. The representation is the A in metal nature, or what they would call hieroglyphs. When it comes to, if you look into meta nature in that way. But yeah, the meta nature is going to show you certain forms of how you leave your body, and it's through the breath. The last breath you take is the A sound, that silent A. Like when they say raw's like raw in a sense. To me, when you say raw, it's, you see the meta nature word for the R. Where we at? The R, which is the mouth. And then you're going to have the bent arm for Ra. So when you look at the meta nature or trying to break it down and speaking the word Ra, it is opening your mouth and letting that last breath out. That's how you should actually say Ra, in a sense. But how we live to make sure that people understand the name Ra, we will say Ra. But when you say it, it's just open your mouth and breathing out that last word. But yeah, that's all I wanted to share on that one.
All right, everyone. Ra, would you like to share? Hold on. Ramutef, how we say it again?
It's opening your mouth and saying, that's how you say Ra. Ra is the mouth is open and the last breath. That's how we should pronounce Ra. When we go by the word of the meta nature, opening the mouth, which is like a R, and then a silent A. So it's, but when they probably did it, it was. Is learning how to use the breath. And then if you do that many of times, you're going to start to get lightheaded. You're going to get lightheaded. because you're taking away that last breath, or you're opening the way or opening the mouth. And then you show in a lot of the meta nature as well, when taking the last breath, or when they're trying to transfer the soul to go into the solar boat, they have that process of the embalming, while they wait for 72 days before they, do the process of what we would call a funeral. But when they do it, it's called the opening of the mouth ceremony. So when a person transcends, their spirit is still in the body. Their breath has maybe left, but their spirit is still there, as they would believe. So in order to release their spirit, they go through the process of the 72 days of basically to mummify the body. From that, the last part that they do is they took that hook or whatnot and open in the mouth, so the spirit can actually leave and go on this journey to be reincarnated again. I'm trying to think what book that will explain it. I want to say the book of the sacred. Hold on, let me get my phone real quick. 1 second.
I was working on. Ooh, you got it.
There we go. Hold on. You able to see it? There we go. The Sacred Magic of Ancient Egypt. Look this book up, and it will tell you, and it will explain a little bit about what is called the opening of the mouth ceremony. That's how, in a sense, or the practice of the people, in a sense, from looking into the meta nature and watching, the mummification under the nature Anpu, which is today is the season of Anpu. We're no longer in Aset, which is Virgo. Today is the day that we are entering into what people know as Libra, or what I know as Upawat or Anpu. So to all the Libras or fake Scorpios out there, it's y'all Libras, y'all Libras today. Well, it's not even today. It's been that way for some odd years now. But yeah, today's the first day of Libra, everyone. Yay!
Gratitude, Ramutel. Gratitude. So I was saying, is that right? Okay. Do you have anything else you'd like to share with us on the Infinite movie you suggested to the Karmic Dynasty platform before we move on to the Scanners movie review? And that was for Ra. I said Ra. I heard him moving around. He might be preoccupied right now. So if he does, he'll come and he'll share that. We're going to move on to Scanners. We got a few moments before my 4:00 broadcast. So let's look at this. Scanners. Let me share this screen. This movie right here. All right. So the thumbs up, thumbs down. That kind of breath, huh, Ramutel? I have for this movie a thumbs up and a thumbs down.
You want to do it like the Black Panther?
What?
Give it a thumbs up and a thumbs down.
Yes, that's what I'm doing. Ramutel got this. Oh, he in the studio with me. Okay, he's straight. Karmic Dynasty.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, so yeah, I got you. So
Okay.
Oh, that's just Ra. Okay, Ra. Before I go into Scanners, is there anything else on Infinite you'd like to discuss?
Listen, go watch the movie. I'm gonna watch it again probably in 2 weeks, but just check it out. It's a lot of good information. Don't waterboard yourself, because the memory is gonna come back to you anyways. But please check it out. Dropping some major gems. If we are the Infinite, just like Ramatuk said, that's a movie about us. We are the Infinite. That's all I gotta say about that.
I'll get my closing in. So even though I didn't watch it, but I'm definitely watching that. Most likely tomorrow. I'm definitely going. No, I'll probably watch it tonight. But in short saying, I definitely I missed out on that one, because that sounds very very freaking deep when it comes to what the lecturer was talking about when it comes to the expansion of that reincarnation and the concept of how we see it and how we've been coming in and out, in and out, in and out, and understanding that some people don't want it here, and then we have a lot of people that's like that in this actual world right now. I know a few people as well that don't want to be here no more. They don't want to come back. They want to stay in a Hellenistic oblivion versus experiencing and traveling the cosmos, because the cosmos is basically making new forms of its dimension on a daily cycle, like the heartbeat. Every heartbeat that we have connects with the universe itself. If that was to go away, we will all cease to exist.
All right. All right. So in preparation of this Scanners movie review, I've been speaking on it, getting questions, and I actually, from some people, their responses like, "Wow, I remember that movie. That movie was dope." That movie, I'm like, "Okay, you go ahead." Now that response I've received from men. The movie itself was referred to the platform by Mother Matriarch Salima Ellis, and to me, the ending scene is what bothered me. And that's because I was eating while I was watching it. Ugh. And my stomach turned, flipped upside down. I was, in that moment, I swore I was never going to eat again in life. But look at me now. Ronald Teff, have you seen that movie?
I probably have, but yeah, it's been a minute. It's been a whole minute.
Okay, Ra. Have you seen Scanners? Oh, hold on, because I muted his mic earlier. He muted. It's muted. Ra, your mic is muted.
Okay, yeah, I seen it. I seen it about 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the first movies that kind of dealt with telepathy. And that movie spawned all these other movies where you got these beings. You know, those are when you talk like X-Men, all these different beings have different powers. Professor X, and so Scanners spawned a whole new generation, especially on Netflix, of movies where you got these really gifted beings who have the power of telepathy. That basically they have their higher powers active. Okay, even if you did not see the movie, just go on the internet and read it. Just type in Scanners, type in plot, and that once look at the plot, and that'll give you what they're talking about. Corporation trying to call CONSEC, which is actually a private military corporation. Okay, so it's a government corporation. Okay, that's trying to gather all the specially talented individuals and use them as weapons. Okay, and that again. You know that would tie into what's going on with us. You know, melanin. Okay, melanin is used on the physical sense. Melanin is used. They've been, and you can look this up. The military been using melanin to power batteries. They've been using melanin to create energy weapons. Because all you gotta do is, if you got a device and you infuse it with melanin, right, and then you draw in the power of the sun, then you can redirect that and use it as a weapon. You know, so they also want to use everything as a weapon. That's on the physical side, and then on that spiritual side, a lot of us we do have higher abilities, known as the four higher senses, that are locked. So Scanners is one of the many movies that gets into that. You know, of beings, people who have superpowers. Okay, the government's trying to control them. You got various factions trying to vie for their power, just like the Republicans and the Democrats. All this is over trying to control the Nubian, us. That's why they fighting. You know what I'm saying? Because we the black energy vortex. So Scanner, it's the same thing. There's the characters in the movie called scanners who have who are psychoactive, meaning their mind power is booming. They can read your mind, right? And called a seer. That's called a seer. We call them seers. You can if you can scan somebody's mind, look into the future. We call them seers. And guess what? That ties into Dune. Remember we did a Dune review? Okay, here goes another subject that's always coming up. Being able to see or predict the future or be telepathic. Okay, and then remember the movie Dune, it was about that spice melange. Okay, now we get back to the scanners. You got the people who are telepathic. Okay, so again, that subliminally they're dropping on the sciences of you, the newbie avatar. A lot of us want. That's why it's important to eat good, have high thinking. You know what I'm saying? Have a high vibration, because every day we are moving towards so-called activation. Where just like the character in the movie Scanners, you're gonna be able to see into the distant, maybe the distant future, the immediate future. Be able to read people, read their mind. You be able to send them messages. Language is some new shit. Okay, language is new because before we weren't speaking any language. We would send you a thought. If I want to communicate with you, all I gotta do is send you a thought, and you'll instantly read that thought. So so language. That's why if you look at the MENTAAT and other ancient Kemetic languages, it's symbols, not it's symbols associated with a tone. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So that's because language is new. We weren't doing that before. So once you get to a higher dimension, we're telepathic. You know what I'm saying? So when you get back down to scanners, this is one of the early movies that's showing you, okay, there's human beings that have access to higher abilities. And it says right here in the year 1985, where scanners are people with powerful, intense, telepathic, and telekinetic abilities. Okay, so just from that little intro alone, to kind of dropping a little science on, okay, what is the sun really doing in terms of activating so-called melanated people? Okay, and that's another reason why they want to keep you at work 8 hours a day and out of the sun, because they know the science on what can potentially happen once you get activated.
Ramatel?
Yeah, I don't remember this movie. As soon as you showed me the picture, I said, "What?" Yeah, I definitely didn't see this one. But yeah, like these like me just becoming aware about the solar flare that's coming our way. Um, those people that's in those areas, it's going to be mighty funny what happens to them when it comes to that. They talking about the whole aura, like we're going to see the aura, but the rest of that energy, that cosmic energy, is going to hit those certain areas. Like up here, it's not going to be as much up here, but those who's in like Michigan, going down a little bit to like Tennessee, a little bit further parts of Canada, y'all right in the zone. So it's going to be pretty interesting what happens or what comes out of it, or the type of upgrades that your DNA is going to start to react off when that when it hits here, when it literally hits. Like for us, we only have like a little bit, hence why we have a lot of clouds. I noticed they put a whole bunch of clouds, and I noticed the weather's been kind of funky, especially up here. Like we getting a lot of rain, and it's supposed to be fall, which is not so much. Like especially around this time, we haven't got rain in Pittsburgh in a long time when it comes to dealing with this particular month within the Gregorian October, which is pretty different for me. But at the same time, the planet is very hot, and a lot of us are getting a lot of that grounding energy, which is helping people tap into that part. But those seers, I can't wait till all of them keep coming out. Like I know a couple of them right now, but I can't wait till a lot of them come out here, because they're gonna they're gonna do some damage for real. They're gonna do some damage. But yeah, I definitely haven't seen this movie. I gotta check this out.
Gratitude, Ramatel. So yeah, someone mentioned when Scanners came out. Scanners premiered in January 1981 to lukewarm reviews from critics, but became one of the first films produced in Canada to successfully complete, hold on, but became one of the first films produced in Canada to successfully compete with American films at the international box office. Now, this movie, spoiler alert for some, like Ramutef was going to go watch it. These are some key points for me. In this movie, the hero and so-called villain are related. I'm sharing that with Ramutef. So there are some scenes, definitely the ending scene, which turned my stomach while I was eating. You know, these two are going at each other with these powers. It's just something else. Y'all would have to, I mean, the way they tore each other up, it was like ridiculous. Also near the end, if Ra recalls, one of the hero in the story, he was at a clinic to find out more information about something, and he was with a woman scanner, and the woman scanner was waiting in the waiting area for him to come back. And while she was there, she was being scanned in the waiting area, but none of those people were scanners. Then she looked and saw a pregnant lady. There's a baby in the womb scanning out from inside the womb. So that was like a rare occasion. It was like one of the developments in the evolution of the scanners.
Yeah, you
Goes
got me
back to
watching it.
that. Go ahead.
No. Only thing I was gonna say was you got me over here watching that in the scene right now on my computer.
Yeah, I was watching it too.
Yes, on
I'm watching it right now.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, it goes back to that whole X gene. Yeah, that's what it goes back to. Goes back to the X gene. That's like a full blown right there. They understand, like they tell you, like in the X-Men in a sense, they tell you that they get it from the father. They get all the mutation from the father. No. Mm-mm. The X gene, X, just X itself. If it was the Y gene or some stuff, then you could say, yeah, it comes from the father. No. It's talking about the X gene. Anything that's dealing with any type of supernatural, uncanny abilities, things of that nature, it all comes from the X gene or the double X in a sense. This whole there's a whole bunch of genetic this genetic mutation thing is very a very serious thing. Now it goes back to is it playing?
And all the
That's why we're older than all the others.
now go ahead, good brother. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. I was hearing it.
Yeah, the
Something in the
audio was
background.
playing briefly. But
No,
Rod, you
man, I was just gonna say real quickly. All these movies, listen, they are talking about you. They are talking about you. Only thing they're doing is putting on a play using a camera, using your story. Okay, we talking about mutate. Why we talking about the X gene? Okay, we are the X-Men. Okay, Scanners is one of the many. This is another superhero movie. This is one of the many movies that's giving us clues on there's something else. There's something deeper going on a physical DNA level with Nubian people, some white folk. And listen, not every white man, not every person you think is white is actually Caucasoid. Caucasoid is blonde hair, blue eyes. So you got a lot of so-called white folks with dark hair, and you know what I'm saying. That's not a Caucasoid. That's one of us. Long story short, so there's a lot of, but on a genetic level, there's a lot of very interesting things, hidden powers. That's why it's important to tap into the DNA, okay? Because that's where, in the subconscious mind too, that's where in the subconscious, that's where the so-called the real you, the deity lives. And in the DNA, that's where memory. In order for you to unlock your power, you gotta have knowledge. Just like in the Matrix, when Neo's downloading knowledge, you gotta have knowledge to unlock that. So and just like Ramita was saying, you got a solar flare coming in. So it's important that we continue cultivating the sun and unlocking. It's still a mystery even to me. Well, we're still walking the path. I'm a master student. I'm not a math teacher, so I'm still learning, figuring all stuff out. But when I'm watching these movies like Scanners, these other movies, and I'm putting two and two together, okay, there's something really, really special going on with your DNA. And just like Rami Tef said, there's clouds. Okay, Bill Gates, he's hired to keep the sun. Ultimately, you cannot delay it, but you cannot stop it. But to delay the sun from activating melanite beings on this planet and whatever mysterious hidden powers they have within their being.
Whoa, this is great. This is great. Oh boy, this is about to be something else, people.
And
I just
listen,
don't know.
let me tell y'all. Let me tell y'all this. I don't really talk about too much. I don't really talk about too much personal things because it's my personal experience. So my personal experience may not resonate. So I don't talk about shit like that. I deal with things that we all can benefit from. But on a personal level, I hear ringtones a lot. Okay, at nighttime, I hear chimes. Okay, my stool is green now. Okay, so I'm going through some type of change. Okay, and when I'm watching these movies, it's like I'm trying to, I'm putting two and two together, like something I can bear witness. It's resonated with me because I can personally bear witness it based upon my experiences. Long story short, so I'm trying to tell people there's something going on with the genetic on the genetic side, something magical. My skin is sparkling. Okay, I was out sun tanning, and I noticed when I was looking at my skin, it was I seen sparkle, like it looked like I was wearing glitter. I don't wear glitter. You know what I'm saying? So I say that to say this, man. Something's going on we're undergoing a genetic mutation. I'm sorry, not mutation. Transcendence. Okay, real quick. The goal is to etherealize, which meaning you don't even got it. We talk about in the Kemetic, Tamaran, Nectarian culture, Nubian culture. We talk about death a lot. Death because we believe that we know that ultimately death is the gateway, right? But also remind people that we're going from Homo sapien to Homo illuminus or Homo etherius, which means you're not gonna even have to experience so-called death anymore. Listen, we're done with that. If you can continue cultivating and continue eating the right diet, okay, thinking right, your body, the physical matter of your body is going to slowly begin to etherealize and essentially unify with your soul matrix, etherealizing Homo etherius. Okay, so I just wanted to drop that. But there's something really, again, with Scanners and all the other movies like Infinite. Every movie that comes out, they're dropping a little bit more science on what's the deeper end of what's going on DNA wise with us, with Black people.
Yeah, I noticed that in that new Dune movie. Um, Even though that's like the remake or whatnot, but I noticed that a lot of what was going on in that particular one. I wish it would have been a little bit longer, but certain parts I wish they would have cut out. But in all retrospect, when it comes to dealing with when the brother finally got the spice in him, or he became spice sensitive, and he really started seeing his future, but at the same time, he also seen a death, but it wasn't his death. And then it makes you wonder, like, is it even his moment that he's going to come into? Then when it comes to just the type of ability using the voice and the way that they were able to control people, it just, oof, that's yeah. And then just understanding the same concept when he was talking about the baby and the scanning people and stuff like that. The individual that was in that movie was basically that same being, just letting people understand that these are basically our generation. Anybody from basically from the 60s moving on, each and every one of us and the ones that come after us are going to be those beings, especially the Hemets, because this whole thing with them not sleeping and other factors that's coming in, something's coming. They know it, but they don't know what it is. Something's coming from them, and then these babies as well. No wonder that they're trying to knock out all these elders, because those elders are definitely those libraries that are needed that we have not recorded, because there's a lot of master teachers out there that we're not aware of who do have these key points, but a lot of them are still confined under those doctrines. And then we have ourselves who are here to bring about those things. But a lot of us are freaking out. A lot of us are freaking out because of the things that are happening, or the things that we're starting to really realize that we're able to do, that we're able to see put together, while we see things before they start happening a lot more, because it's ourselves telling ourselves or awakening ourselves is a whole bunch of conglomerates or collaboration, whatever you call it, of energies that we need to get a handle on, for real, for real. Definitely need to get a handle on it.
Gratitude. I appreciate you both sharing. So another scene, which is after the scene where the pregnant lady's child scans the lady in the room. In this part of the story is found out how the scanners were created. And it talks about how the doctor developed a sedative for pregnant women. And then he learned of the side effects of that sedative during his wife's pregnancies, and made he created a higher dose to his wife to create the scanners that she was pregnant with, the babies that became scanners, because she got a high dosage of ephemeral, and then he abandoned them. So this story also, if you didn't know, is about those babies that were part of that experiment, which are the primaries of the scanners in this movie. That's all I got to say about it. You two have closing remarks on this movie, or anything else you'd like to share about this movie before we leave today?
Look, me personally, like I said about Infinite, definitely go check that out, investigate it. Scanners is one of the first movies. Well, it marks the first set of movies that is kind of getting into telepathy and the various superpowers that that many of us so-called possessed, and how corporations and government factions are vying for control over these individuals. Long story short, and to getting back to what Joy was saying about the child and all that, like the Democratic Party is doing their best to pretend like they're on Black people's side, but once you get behind that agenda, get behind the surface agenda, the deeper agenda is these parties are trying. They understand the science of us, so ultimately they're vying for control over, power of the Nubians, and that's all I want to say about that. Check that out. And I did want to drop a quick comment about Dune, but I can wait on that.
You can say it if you'd like to.
Okay, bet. I just want to say, go watch that. It was a good movie. It was a good remake. I was a little disappointed that I was under the impression that it was going to be a complete remake. Okay, it was only half the story. So when it ended, I was very disappointed because I didn't know that. I thought it was going to be a full remake. So now they're talking about they're going to make a Dune part, another one coming out in 2023 that covers the second half. But I was disappointed about that.
Yeah, I was too.
Yeah, the original covered the entire story. So that's what I thought. I didn't when I was reading and listen, they did that on purpose because they didn't advertise Dune Part 1. They advertised Dune, and then a week before it released, it said Dune Part 1.
And then I noticed that when you start the movie, it said that it said part one. And I was
Right,
just like,
but
oh,
what?
they about to do the whole Justice League thing where they put it in parts. No,
Right,
they
but they
said it
didn't
right there.
exactly. They didn't exactly. They didn't promote it like that. They promoted it as straight up Dune. Cause listen, I following this shit since it got produced. It was being promoted as Dune, and then 1 week before, now it's all of a sudden Part 1. Long story short, so I just wanted to. But it was, but listen, it was a great remake for for the first half of it. It was really good, and that's really. I know this is a Scanners Infinite review, but that's a real one that everybody gotta watch. That's really dropping it on that whole Spice Melange, and that actually ties into Scanners. All these movies actually tie into each other because at the end of the day, Scanners Infinite and Dune deals with genetic memory, telepathy. Okay, if you read about all these different movies, they're all tied in. Joy is the feminine goddess, so she already know. You know what I'm saying? The women they really pay attention. So you can, Joy, you can really see the similarities between Dune, Scanners, and Infinite. They're all talking about ultimately they're talking about the same thing.
Right. Which is leading me into what I was going to say. What I wanted to say now is that you come here and you want to speak on Dune, you can speak on Dune. Ra, you are the vessel that brought movie reviews on a consistent basis to Karmic Dynasty. And before it even became a consistent and the present is now the present, ever since you've been on here, when you come, you can speak on whatever you want to speak on. If you want to talk about 20 movies, we're going to talk about all 20 movies. Give them each one minute or something, however you want to add up the math of those minutes. But yeah, you can talk about anything you want to talk about when you come here. I appreciate you so much. I really
appreciate
do.
that. Yeah, I appreciate that, and yeah, because again, ultimately, when I'm thinking about it, all these movies are related. They're all different pieces of the puzzle. Every movie. Listen, the reason why I'm big on movies is because I am big on the Akashic record, and I understand I'm sorry, I don't understand it. I can't say that. I have an understanding of the Akashic record as a holographic library, a universal holographic library. That's what a movie is. Each movie, I don't give a fuck what genre it is. Each movie you see is a page out of the Akashic record. Because all these movies are not, there's no such thing as science fiction. It's all science fact. So when you're watching a movie, you're watching something out of the Akashic record, point blank, period. So every movie has a relationship.
Shoot, the ones we just tied together, hell yeah. For real. Oh
And
boy.
then now in the reading for, what was it? What are we doing? The reading for Infinite in the Wikipedia article related back to the Matrix. Remember that, Ramatev? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's coming out real quick. That's coming out December 21st. The Matrix Part 4.
And my event for the new one, because we're having a watch party in Indianapolis on December 25th. It just happens to be the Saturday. I have my events on Saturday. So it's the first Saturday after the release. And you missed that. Yeah. December 25th, we're having a watch party of the new Matrix movie in Indianapolis.
Okay, bad. I'm thinking about doing something like that here in Atlanta, having a watch party. That's gonna be an interesting one. That's gonna listen. I can tell by the trailer. That's gonna be dropping a lot of gems just from the trailer alone. It's gonna be an epic gem dropper. And again, I tell Black people all the time. Black people, unfortunately, because we are in a spiritual coma, we've been watching a lot of niggerish, like Friday. I have to. I'm guilty. Okay, if I like Friday too, just like the next nigga. I like Friday, but we have not been watching science fiction like Dune, the real science that's going to elevate our consciousness, and they did that on purpose. So that's why And let me tell you something. That's why on Facebook I'm a part of these Dune groups, and these white folks are so just shocked. Cause I'm over there dropping it on them like, no, this is that, this is da. Cause they're assuming that we just watching nigger shit, not knowing that it's a lot of us are tuning into this high level of conscious programming that you're dropping. Okay, so that's why when you're watching, that's why these movies they're dropping a lot of our sciences because they don't think we're paying attention. Again, why the fuck? So Dune, remember? So the original Dune, the substance that allowed cosmic consciousness, right? It was called spice melange. Melange. Okay, mela is a Greek for black. So melanin, melange, same thing. So spice, melanin, and the black what? Black dot, the chemical black dot. We call it narcotics. The black dot, sacred universal dots. Okay, melanin. So in 1984, when that movie came out, were black people awake? No, ain't no black. Come on. So they can put that in there. They could put that in there and be like, okay, black people ain't gonna figure this out. Okay, that's why in the new Dune, if you notice now, they took out the word malign. They just called the substance spice. That's it. They took the word out completely. They're like, wait a minute now, black people are not gonna. And that's why when I went on a Facebook group, Dune, I dropped that. You know what I'm saying? So and white folks they just assume that we don't. I guess they think we're still stupid. You know what I'm saying? But I just want to say that we got to be. That's why I'm big on movies, because I understand that you can learn a lot out of these movies and video games. Children, they drop a lot of knowledge in video games too. That's why when I was growing up, I was a big gamer, and a lot of the knowledge that I acquired when I started studying comedic science. I'm like, wait a minute, I seen this in a movie. I played a video game about this. You see what I'm saying? So we just got to continue ascending our consciousness and put two and two together. But guess what? Even if this dead ass nigga out here on the street is not putting two and two together, the fact that we are, that's the only thing that matters, because we're upload. Listen, everything that we learn, it gets uploaded to collective consciousness. So so that once they wake up, they're gonna be able to tap into that. So stop trying to wake up everybody. It's not about waking up everybody. It's about waking yourself up, uploading your knowledge into the collective consciousness so that we all can tap into it.
Yes, I spoke to someone today about that. Was on the phone talking to somebody. I was like, we it's not for all of us at the same time. Basically, don't get caught up in making sure the message get across to everyone when you speak. It's not going to happen like that. There's no way everyone can receive what you're saying right now at the same damn time. Right. You're going to might have to say it a few times over, which is what the videos are great for, because we're doing it now. It'll sit in the archives and people can run it back and play it back whenever they want to. How many times do they want to listen to it to get it? And even when we get something like reading a book or looking at a movie, when we watch it again or read it again, we get more from it. There's always growth and opportunity in everything. Everything. Let's speak our words of departure. Ramutef Kweb, if you would.
Again, folks, go check this out. Go check these movies out. Everyone that we just spoke on, definitely check them out. My last words would be towards just take the time, people. Adjust your mental space. Try to get things prioritized with yourself. Make better thoughts, better judgments, and definitely work on your abilities. That's all I can say. I'm Anouk Ramutef Kweb. I'm Ramutef Kweb. You can find me on Facebook as Ramutef Kweb. You can find me on Instagram as Ramutef_Kweb.
And Ra, if you would speak your words of departure, gratitude.
Indeed. Shukwu Nuwa, divine love and light. Hetep, peace. Round back, greetings. And we send that out to Papawut, which is the all, right? For the all is I am. Okay? Anuki Amin Ra. Okay? I am Ra. Please go watch these movies. Okay? Check it out. This is your science. This is your science that they dropping. At the end of the day, it had nothing to do with them. It's all about you. The only movie that got to do with them is the year one about a bunch of cavemen. Okay? And the island of Dr. Monroe. Okay? Go check that out. I was gonna add that, but I forgot. Go check that out. That was a good one about that gets back into genetic breeding, and then you'll see how these other races got on the planet. So, beloved star seeds, you know what I'm saying? Please continue doing your homework, be a master teacher, you know what I'm saying, and keep your eye open on every single movie they dropping, left and right. Okay? And I say to you, Nefer Atumra, Grand Rising. Okay, Nefer Atunra. Okay, Grand Afternoon, Nefer Amunra. Have a beautiful, great evening. I can be found at 4MEN_Ra. So 4MEN_Ra, and I'll pop up.
Gratitude. I appreciate all of my guests on the movie review Infinite and Scanners today. I am Joy Allen of Karmic Dynasty. I love you all. So precious to me. I appreciate everyone that comes in any manner, in any form. I learn, I grow, I prosper. And I'll continue to work on my DPS. Working on my DPS. I'm speechless. I'm looking at Rama Tuff in the backstage. I'm speechless. My last words are DPS.